One question that I get asked time and time and time again is, how do I find clients? And I mean, I get it. It makes sense. If you want to have a business, you want to bring in income. Well, if you don't have any clients, you don't have much of a business or income. But at the same time, most people make lead generation way harder than it actually needs to be. I mean, let's be real here. How much time do you actually spend thinking about or looking for new ways to generate leads compared to how much time you actually spend actively looking for those leads? And you see, this is where the biggest hiccup for most people comes in. We spend way more time thinking and a lot less time doing. And less doing is always going to produce, well, less. So I'm here to tell you that there is no secret strategy or best strategy out there. You can just forget about that. What you need to do is pick one strategy, just one strategy. That is it. Let everything else go and go all in on that strategy. Get results, whatever they may be, from that strategy before you ever consider going on to another strategy. Because if you start off with more than one strategy, just because you're trying to get leads any way that you can, well, you're never going to be able to give all of those strategies your absolute best. And so you're never going to be able to get the actual best results from either of those strategies. And then you'll think it's the strategies that aren't working. And you'll go back to square one and you'll start looking again for that next best strategy. Now you're going to need to decide if you want to start off with shorter term or longer term strategies. Now, either of these is going to have their pros and cons just like everything else. But if you start with a short-term strategy, this is where you hear about the cold emailing and cold calling. These are the faster strategies that are meant to get you results now, to get you clients now. But the downside to those strategies is that you always have to keep going in order to be able to produce more and more clients. Now you have the longer term strategies, and they're longer term because, well, they're going to take longer to see the results. The benefits to these types of strategies, like building a following, SEO, partnerships, is that once they're in place, they tend to continue to produce for you without you having to put in significantly more effort. And then you need to do it and do it consistently. I've talked in another video about the math that goes behind figuring out your lead generation numbers, how much outreach you need to do, how many people you need to speak to in order to be able to hit the goals that you want. But you need to plan your specific action steps and put them on the calendar. And when they show up on that day, you need to do it. No excuses, I just don't feel like it today, because it's that consistency. That is the only secret, if you want to call it that. Consistency is what is actually going to start to produce these results for you. And if you're one of the people who has already started with lead generation, but you're not really happy with the results that you've actually been getting, I really want to stress how important it is that you do 3 things before you really get into lead generation. At least 2 of these before you really get into big time lead generation. The first is you need to know who your target audience is. Otherwise, you don't know who you're targeting and you're not going to be able to speak to them in a way that's going to attract them to your service. The second is you need to figure out what your offer is. What is an offer that really is going to speak to that target audience that is going to make it a no-brainer for them? You can't craft a great offer if you don't know who you're actually targeting. So these are very important. Now, the third step is the one that you actually have to work on after you've figured out 1 and 2, but this is to really build up the trust. And how do you do that? Well, you build some social proof. Show them what it is that you can actually do. And if you don't have a portfolio, you don't have any testimonials or case studies, go get them. That is your job. I've also done another video on how you can go about doing that if you don't have a lot of experience, you don't have clients yet, you don't have projects under your belt to put in your portfolio. So I'll link to that down below, but that becomes your main job. But again, you don't want to build that portfolio until you know who you're building that portfolio for. Now, if you're looking for specific detailed guides on lead generation, I'll also link to my lead generation execution guides down below. But I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments what has been the biggest struggle for you when it comes to lead generation. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll catch you next time.